U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry came to Seoul for a meeting with top South Korean diplomats, emphasizing the need for the THAAD missile defense system. Top presidential aide for political affairs Cho Yoon-sun has resigned her post, taking responsibility for the lack of progress on government employee pension reform. And President Park Geun-hye welcomed Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Seoul for a summit where the two leaders discussed bilateral cooperation between Korea and India. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Tuesday, May 19th. I'm Luke Clary. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry came to Seoul for a meeting with top South Korean diplomats. Calling North Korea a serious threat to security, he later visited a U.S. forces unit where he emphasized the necessity for the THAAD missile system.
U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry stressed that North Korea was the most serious security threat and that its recent test of submarine-launched ballistic missiles was a clear provocation.
And that is why the United States and South Korea will continue to modernize our alliance in order to fully and decisively counter any threat that Pyongyang may pose.
Seoul and Washington have also agreed to discuss ways to ratchet up sanctions against Pyongyang in order to induce it to change its actions.
비핵화를 위한 전략적 선택을 하도록 보다 강력한 압박과 보다 적극적인 설득 노력을 병행하여 전개해 나가기로 하였습니다.
At the meeting, the U.S. Secretary of State did not bring up the issue of deploying the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense Missile System, or THAAD. However, he did mention its necessity during his visit to a U.S. forces base in Yongsan, Seoul. Kerry stressed the importance of preparing for any possibilities, adding, "This is why we need to deploy ships and forces, and we are talking about that." Meanwhile, South Korea's Ministry of Foreign Affairs said the final decision on the deployment of the THAAD system by the U.S. forces stationed in Korea had not been reached at the meeting.
Top presidential aide for political affairs Cho Yoon-sun has announced her resignation, citing the lack of progress in reforming the pension system for government employees. Conflict between rival parties over the civil servant pension reform continues to escalate.
Senior Presidential Secretary for Political Affairs Cho Yoon-sun, who served as a bridge between the presidential office and the ruling party, announced her resignation on Monday. She said that she would take responsibility for the reform of the government employee pension system falling short of the president's expectations, and for the pension reform debate having changed into a discourse on the national pension system, basic pension, and even tax increases. President Park Geun-hye accepted Cho's resignation immediately. The leadership of the Saenuri Party appeared to be perplexed, finding it difficult to understand the decision.
최저임금을 이유로 그만뒀다고요? 그건 이해가 안 돼요. 정무수석이 책임질 문제는 아니라고 봅니다. 예.
However, the debate between the rival parties appears to be expanding from the national pension system's income replacement rate to basic pensions. New Politics Alliance for Democracy floor leader Lee Jong-geol presented a new compromise of expanding basic pension beneficiaries to those in the top 95% of the income bracket from 70%. But MPAD head Moon Jae-in made it clear that Lee's proposal is not the party's official stance. The Saenuri Party also clearly expressed its opposition early on.
A U.S. court has overturned a ruling in the ongoing litigation war between Samsung Electronics and Apple, which could be good news for Samsung, reducing the compensation that the conglomerate must pay to Apple over smartphone patent infringements. Here's more.
The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit in Washington has ruled against Apple's so-called trade dress claims against Samsung Electronics and sent the case back to the trial level on Tuesday. Trade dress refers to the characteristics of the visual appearance of a product. Apple claimed that Samsung's mobile phones infringed on its trade dress intellectual property by copying the iPhone's rectangular design with rounded corners. However, the court upheld the previous verdict that Samsung infringed on Apple's several other design patents, including one regarding frame design. In the first trial, Samsung was found guilty of infringing on Apple's design patents and trade dress intellectual properties and was ordered to pay $930 million in damages. However, the latest ruling, which overturned the initial verdict, has raised the possibility that Samsung will have to pay a smaller compensation. The damages for trade dress infringement was worth $382 million. If the latest verdict is finalized, Samsung will have to pay a reduced amount estimated at $548 million.
President Park Geun-hye held a summit with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Seoul on Monday. The two leaders discussed ways to expand economic cooperation between South Korea and India, a country with a population of 1.2 billion and an economy that has been clocking faster economic growth than even China.
The Cheongwade warmly welcomed Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who visited South Korea as a state guest. In a summit, the two leaders adopted a joint statement on expanding exchange between their countries in various sectors and agreed on upgrading bilateral ties.
양국 관계의 새로운 장을 열어나갈 한인도 특별 전략적 동반자 관계를 위한 공동 성명을 채택하게 되었음을 기쁘게 생각합니다.
We consider Korea a crucial partner in India's economic modernization.
As the first step, the two countries will launch negotiations by the first half of next year at the latest on revising their comprehensive economic partnership agreement, which took effect in 2010. South Korean companies' participation will be expanded in India's infrastructure industry, including the construction of smart cities and high-speed railways. To do so, the South Korean government will provide financial support worth approximately $9.1 billion. In line with Modi's manufacturing industry-centered policy, the two countries will also expand cooperation in shipbuilding projects, including building LNG transport ships. The Indian government has promised to set up a Korea Plus Center under the office of the Prime Minister, which will speedily address difficulties facing South Korean firms.
The competition among tow truck drivers to be first to arrive on the scene of the accident has crossed the line on more than a few occasions. Driving the wrong way down the road or chasing down competitors are just some of the risky stunts that tow truck drivers pull for the sake of profits.
Two tow trucks keep changing lanes to block a competitor on the road behind them. Even police cars can't stop their reckless driving as they race to the scene of an accident. To stop the other tow truck from passing them, they even force it to exit the road, like in an action movie.
자기네들 경쟁을 키니까 길을 이제 막기 시작을 했는 거죠. 가다린 쪽까지 바짝 붙은 상황에 치고 돌아버리니까 사고가 나는 거예요.
This tow truck ended up colliding with an oncoming car after crossing the median trying to pass another tow truck. Tow truck drivers risk their lives this way because they can only make money by arriving first at the scene of an accident. Those who arrive first not only get paid for towing damaged cars, but also receive up to 30% of car repair fees. But their reckless driving tactics pose serious threats to other drivers on the road.
A cruise ship has returned to the nighttime sea in Yeosu, South Jeolla Province, after a one-year hiatus following the sinking of the Seoul ferry. Here are some glimpses into the beautiful scenes of the South Sea at night. Let's take a look.
Darkness has fallen over the sea off the coast of Yeosu. Decorative lights from the coastal park softly illuminate the waters. With cable cars above, the nighttime views of Tulsan Bridge create an exotic atmosphere. The Big O Show, a festival of lights and water fountains, revives the energy of the Yeosu Expo.
야경도 되게 좋고 오동도도 보이고 비보쇼도 보이고 기념이 정말 될 것 같아요. 너무 재밌었어요. 3, 2, 1
a splendid display of fireworks is staged on the deck. The festive mood on the ship reaches a climax. Nighttime operation of cruise ships in Yeosu was resumed last weekend after a one-year hiatus following the sinking of the Seoul ferry.
아직까지 허가가 이제 나서 아직 예약률은 좀 저조하지만 앞으로 점차적으로 많이 늘 거라고 예상하고 있습니다.
The Yeosu seaside is even more fascinating and beautiful at night than in the daytime. A trip on a night cruise offers unforgettable romantic moments and memories.
Colorful lotus lanterns light up Buddhist temples and streets ahead of Buddha's birthday on May 25th. Well, here are some artisans carrying on the tradition of lotus lanterns.
Lotus lanterns light up the world engulfed in darkness. The millennium-old lantern celebration has become a Korean folk custom, wishing for good fortune. The traditional Korean handmade paper called hanji is colored with natural dyes and folded carefully into blooming lotus flowers. Unlike the lanterns made with pre-printed colored papers, these paper flowers, sporting subtly beautiful colors, have been restored recently after a long absence since the Japanese colonial period.
돈을 주고 사는 것보다 몸으로 우리가 고생을 하면서 그 정성으로 만들어서 올리기 때문에 그게 더 아주 좋은 것 같아요.
The bamboo poles where the lanterns are hung have also been brought back recently after a period of discontinuity. Since the unified Chilla period, Koreans have hung up as many lanterns as there are family members to wish them prosperity and longevity. The resurrected beauty of the lotus lanterns is enriching the celebration of Buddha's birthday.
The Korean film Coin Locker Girl is getting positive reviews at the Cannes Film Festival currently underway. This and more coming up in today's Showbiz News.
Actress Kim Go-eun's gripping performance is captivating the Cannes Film Festival. Charles Tae-song, artistic director of Critics Week at Cannes, spoke of Coin Locker Girl as a movie brimming with energy and said that Kim Go-eun, who made a powerful impression in the film, will become the second Chun Do-yeon, who won the Best Actress award at the 2007 festival. New KBS drama Producers is headlined by a star-studded cast, including Kim Soo-hyun, Cha Tae-yeon, Gong Hyo-jin, and IU, to show the daily routines of entertainment show producers. The show's original soundtrack is just as impressive, featuring some of Korea's most celebrated vocalists. Top-rated singers such as Lee Seung-chul, Baek Ji-young, Kim Bom-soo, and Kim Yeon-woo took part in production, signaling the release of a classy OST album. Legendary rock band The Scorpions are to visit Korea in celebration of the 50th anniversary of the band's debut. The Scorpions will take part in the Pentaport Rock Festival to be held in Incheon this August and perform their powerful yet poignant signature music.
The noodle dish jjajangmyeon is an all-time favorite among Koreans regardless of their age or gender. Some chefs say that they have their own versions of jjajangmyeon, and today we're going to share their unique jjajangmyeon recipes. Let's take a look. This is a Chinese restaurant in North Gyeongsang Province. With his 44 years of experience in the kitchen, the owner of the restaurant is known as a jjajang expert. That's because he creates and develops new versions of jjajangmyeon using traditional Korean sauces like soybean paste and hot pepper paste. Among his jjajang-based creations, there's a dish that's particularly popular in the summer. It's cold jjajangmyeon that's kept in a refrigerator before being served.
짜장면에 기름을 쓰다 보니 식으니까 우드가 물같이 완전히 풀터리가 묵지도 못할 정도로. 그래서 연구를 하다 보니까 짜장면 식초를 넣고 하니까 오래 보관이 되더라고요.
In a Chinese restaurant in Seoul, the process of making dough for jjajangmyeon is in full swing. This chef is a master in making dosakmyeon, or knife-sliced noodles.
도상면은 반죽을 일반 면보다 좀 되게 해갖고 이런 틀에 면을 고정시켜서 칼로 반죽을 깎아내는 면이 도상면입니다.
This restaurant is always packed with diners who want to have a bowl of dosakmyeon, which is rarely made even in China.
면이 넓어서 면발이 쫄깃쫄깃하고 신선한 식감이 있어서.
Next, there is another unique jjajangmyeon. It's jjajang that contains dough flakes called sujebi instead of noodles. With no need to use chopsticks, a spoon is more than enough to eat the dish. For jjajang sujebi, jjajang sauce and dough flakes are stirred together for a unique dish. So why did the chef choose sujebi over noodles?
짜장면을 드시다 보면은 짜장 소스가 많이 남는 부분이 있는데 수제비랑 같이 드시다 보면은 짜장 소스의 깊은 맛을 느낄 수 있을 것 같아서 개발하게 되었습니다.
Jjajangmyeon is always a favorite choice among Koreans. Try a bowl of unique jjajangmyeon made by one of the master chefs who take pride in their special recipes. And now let's take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. Tomorrow we'll be observing a KBS Labor Union holiday, so we'll see you again on Thursday. Thanks for watching and see you then. Goodbye.